Hey y'all, and welcome to Stover's Homestead. I'm Zach, and we are in the greenhouse, but not for long. This one is extremely important for you to listen to. All right, Jen is in this kitchen busting butt. It's Friday when we're filming this, and instead of going out to eat, we're cooking at home tonight. So what did you just do for the first time?
I made homemade mayo.
Yeah, so that was really easy.
Gosh. It's so good.
It is.
I don't even like mayonnaise. I don't like store-bought mayonnaise. Now I know that. I like homemade mayonnaise. So now I'm making, what am I making? Yum Yum. Homemade Yum Yum sauce.
Because tonight is hibachi night on the Blackstone. So the mayo was actually really easy to do. Sometimes we like to try things out on our own before we do a video of it to make sure it works. So we want to show you how successful it is.
Something I've been wanting to do for a while. And a lot of you have talked about it. And we just don't eat a ton of mayonnaise. That's why we hadn't done it. And I had a big tub of Dukes that we needed to work through. I just used that a couple days ago. So now from here on out, it's homemade mayo.
Yeah, so now when we do those tomato sandwiches, we'll have homemade mayo. That's going to be pretty good.
And I have tomatoes right here. I want a tomato sandwich.
Yeah, hibachi night though.
Yes. Okay, this is the mayo. That needs to go in the fridge.
So that's it. Ours is a little more yellow, probably because of the junk.
I mean, I think if they're all pretty yellow. Our eggs are very, very
that's what it is.
Orange, the yolks, so that has a lot to do
because we're using a farm fresh egg instead of a store-bought egg for sure.
I don't have a homemade ketchup, but I do have organic ketchup from Thrive. And now we're going to do 2 tablespoons of ketchup.
We know we can make our own ketchup too.
Yes.
Process steps.
This is going to be so good.
I'm excited for some homemade Yum Yum.
I also don't like Yum Yum store-bought. I've never been a fan, but I have a feeling I'm gonna like it homemade. I'm just not a big sauce girly because I think they all taste bad, but.
Gosh, I am.
Okay, that's gonna be cooking. Okay, sure.
Get that paprika. You want to hear the greatest Friday afternoon sound? Yeah, buddy.
Oh, this is a 4th and I need 2, so I need to do 4 of these.
Whoa, what? What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to do 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and this is a 1/4 of a teaspoon.
So
I think I actually need to do 8.
Yeah, you need to do 8 because 4 would be 1. Yeah.
Shit.
You lost count.
I
think that was 5.
Okay.
It's 6.
I just got to thinking about something. Was that 7?
Yes, that was 7. This is 8. That's probably 10 things of garlic powder now.
Oh.
Good thing we like garlic.
I get to thinking about stuff. This is what happens. All right, and 1 to 4 tablespoons of water as needed. I don't know about all that. Right over here. I'm not getting it right there. There we go. That is so good.
That's really good.
Okay, I think we have all our sauces made. Our chicken's been marinating for like, what, 4 hours now?
Yes.
We made a homemade teriyaki sauce.
Teriyaki.
So that's ready. All the vegetables are cut up. Did you tell them which ones? Zucchini, squash, and onion. Our rice, I pre-cooked the rice in the Instapot.
Because we're going to fry it or do fried rice.
We're going to put mixed vegetables in it, like peas, carrots, and corn, I think.
And egg, obviously. It's going to be good. It's going to be classic at-home hibachi.
Yeah.
So we'll be grilling up here in just a second. So last time y'all saw us, which was just late last week, we had planted all of these seeds. And basically, absolutely everything is sprouting. The herbs are a little slower. So we got a few pumpkins popping up here, some more pumpkins here. The green beans, the pole beans on this side are doing a lot better so far than the blaze bush beans on this side. However, I have faith that all of them will probably germinate really well. I am also happy to say, y'all know I did, these are all pickling cucumbers. This side is survival garden seeds, this side is Haas, and as you can tell, 100% germination for both of them. Over here we got some zucchini and squash that's popping up. This is cantaloupe and honeydew. We have butternut squash. This is sugar baby watermelon and rattlesnake watermelon. Those have not started coming up yet, besides one little baby that's just popping out of the dirt. And these are the herbs. They take a little bit longer, but we do have marshmallow that's popped up and one itty bitty wormwood. Actually, there's a few wormwood in there, but it doesn't look like the other ones have just yet. Then of course we have the jungle of Jen's tomatoes over there, and then we've got all of these. So these are one of mine that are going. Here's some peppers, some more tomatoes, some flowers. We got dill and cilantro, and then some more really beautifully healthy peppers. So first off, I want to talk about the squashes, the green beans, all the stuff that we had got started. This is the reason that you only start like 2 to 3 weeks outside of your last frost date, because they germinate really fast. They get big really fast, so they don't need a whole lot of time to grow in a greenhouse or indoors before transplanting them to your garden beds. I did also want to say, you're going to see a lot of people, a lot of stuff that's out there that says you cannot transplant this, only direct sow that, etc., etc. I've never had a single issue transplanting anything. You know, I think it really depends on kind of your environment or whatever you really like the most, but never think that you can't start something and transplant it out to your garden. It's really kind of silly to me when those kind of statements come out. I don't know. It's a plant. It's gonna grow. The biggest thing that you're watching out for is what doesn't transplant the greatest, right? That's what you're really looking for. I hate definites of saying you can't do something, because best believe I'm definitely gonna try if you tell me I can't. But some things do go through a little bit more of a transplant shock, which is really what they're trying to tell you. And what that means is once it goes out into the garden, it might halt its growth path, or it might be suffering a little bit, where if you direct sowed, it might not have that issue. So just kind of keep that in mind when it comes to transplanting or direct sowing. But I am always a fan of transplanting. So the next really important topic, and it's something that we have done that you're about to see that is really risky, maybe. But the next topic on discussion was these tomato plants. Yeah, like, I mean, I have to bend down because they are so tall and they're so big, and we really need to get these in the ground sooner rather than later. So our rule here in southeastern Kentucky is Mother's Day. Mother's Day is the safe bet to when you can get your plants out into the garden. Well, things have changed a little, and I don't know that we can trust these old ways anymore. So I'm not sure if y'all remember or not, but last year, I think it was last year, it might even been the year before that, they came out and changed all of our zones. Like, they kind of just said, we got new weather patterns, we got new zones for gardeners out there. And so everybody was like, oh, okay, well, we're now this, we're now that. And, you know, first off, there was concern in our head, like, why is our weather changing so much that we even have to change zones? Well, it is what it is. It's happening. So this is new information that got Jen and I investigating, because normally our last frost is about, I would say, a week or two before Mother's Day, maybe about a week before. But old timers here always say Mother's Day because you usually get some spring weather that comes in that can really harm your plant. So it's like, it's safe Mother's Day and beyond. That's when you're really in the clear. So with that information in our head, Jen and I was like, let's just do some investigation. Let's check some stuff out. So the first thing we did was check our weather app, and we looked at all the lows for the next 10 days. And you can see that our lowest low that they have predicted is 53 degrees. And your normal rule of thumb, if you didn't know this, is you go to your last frost date, and as long as you don't have a low below 50, you're good to go. You can feel safe enough to go ahead and rock that. So then our second thing was, okay, let's go to the Old Farmer's Almanac, because that's what we normally do, and see if they've changed. Look at that date. April 22nd. And I'm not sure if y'all are aware of this or not, today's the 22nd. And so I was like, whoa, that is a major change. I've never seen that thing say anything that wasn't in May, at some point in May for our last frost date. So I was like, all right, our next 10 days show over 50 as lows. Old Farmer's Almanac says April 22nd is the last frost date. I think we're in the clear. Let's try planting some stuff. So whether it be our poles are shifting, or it's global warming, or whatever it is, I can't control that single-handedly, but what I can do is take advantage of a longer growing season. And that's what we're doing. So welcome to the first summer plants that I have ever planted in the month of April in Kentucky. So right here we have 6 Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes along with 2 marigolds that are in here. These we will be pruning down to 1 stem, and I'm actually using what do they call these, shepherd's hooks. So we'll be using shepherd hooks. I'm going to run a line down here, and then we'll tie it down to the tomatoes, and then Jen will probably put something cool in the hanging part of this. In this area we have peppers. So we have jalapenos, yellow monster bell peppers, a red bell pepper, and banana peppers. So 2 things I wanted to talk about specifically with these 2 beds. First off, your tomato plants. So y'all remember how tall they were and how drastically shorter they are now. A tomato plant will grow roots all the way up its stem as far as you put it in the dirt. So make sure you are digging them bad boys as deep as you can and getting them as far down as you can, and just make sure that you're plucking the leaves off, or yeah, the stems, leaves off when you put them into the ground. And that's going to make such a sturdy, strong tomato plant because you can bury them as deep as you want to. Pepper plants, on the other hand, are not like that. However, I do want to talk about cross pollination, because I know someone watching said, I just heard him say that he planted jalapenos, a hot pepper, bell peppers, and banana peppers, sweet peppers, all in the same bed really close together. Now, when it comes to cross pollination, that is going to be more of an impact if you're saving your seeds. If you're saving your seeds, you could come out with a hybrid, you know, a little bit of a spicier bell pepper, a little bit of a sweeter jalapeno pepper. That is absolutely true. That can definitely happen with cross pollination and saving the seeds. First generation plants, however, that is more unlikely. Again, I never do definites, right? I'm not going to tell you that you're not going to have some kind of wild variety happen every once in a while. I think one year we actually had that happen with a pumpkin or watermelon. So one of our melons got mixed up. However, that could have been from a cross pollination from that seed from a previous year. We don't know. However, I'm telling you right now that it is not about planting the first generation of plants together, that they're all going to start mixing up. It's more about that reseeding and saving those seeds for the next year. And then down here in this first bed is a flower bed. So y'all know I love my zinnias. So we got zinnias in here, we got calendula in here, marigolds, and we even put a couple hollyhocks. And that felt so good to get some summer plants in the ground. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we really took last year off. We did some small gardening, nothing crazy, but it feels so good to get back into the game and getting this stuff in, especially early. And over here, like, look at these radishes that Jen planted in this green stock. They are doing amazing and looking awesome. And over here, our lettuce, broccoli, and kale. This is cabbage. Our cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower over here, and our onions are all doing great and getting really, really big. I did also want to say, if you are growing broccoli, those broccoli leaves are fantastic. We like to cut them and wilt them down, kind of like a mustard green, collard green, different stuff like that. You can use those for the same thing. Tastes fantastic. So I feel like I've always been a big believer to trust, you know, the old timers, and let's keep gardening the same and let's stick to routine, because that seems to be what works. But in 2025 and everything that we're all going through, I just don't think that we no longer have to do that. I think new things are happening and new opportunities are available to us in the gardening season. And I really want to challenge you to take some risks this year. Now, like, if you saw, that ain't near the plants that we have in the greenhouse, but it is a start. And what I mean by that is, find an area in your garden to allow yourself to explore and experiment. Especially you all in the more northern states that maybe have a shorter growing season. I know some of y'all struggle to grow peppers, right? Because it takes forever for them to grow. Or you don't have the option to get some of these things that maybe the more southern states do. Try it this year. Like Roselle is something that we grow every year, but it's not something that we normally get to harvest very often because it needs such a long growing season. But I've noticed over the past few years, we're getting some flowers on there, and that's what you harvest out of them. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're starting to get longer and longer. So if I can get that Roselle going sooner, I now have a longer growing season and may be able to harvest that in our area. And that's what I'm saying I'm challenging you to do. What's something that you haven't been able to grow before because of the lack of days in your season? Or if you're too hot, maybe you're moving a little cold. Who knows what's happening out there? Let's just experiment in the garden. Let's find some beds that we can throw some stuff in and see what happens. Because as gardeners, that is the absolute best way that we're gonna learn how to have our successful garden on our property, not by listening to other people. Honey, could you be more gross? I understand you're just trying to stay cool and you playing and you're a puppy, but my goodness, look at you. Oh, Willa Dean. Dolly, you gonna teach her anything? Huh? You gonna teach her anything? You know, we're living in a really wild world, and I know it feels like every year we always say that, like things are crazy, but 2025 does feel different. It feels very different. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. There's a lot of stuff that's changing. We can wear ourselves out staying overly concerned. I'm not saying ignore. I'm saying don't be overly concerned. Let's, unfortunately, take advantage of some of these things that are happening, like getting the garden planted early. Let's try to get some stuff out there. I am actually about to plant some dill and cilantro, and I'm going to plant it under my wife's favorite tree right here because it's going to have some shade, and that cilantro will bolt in a heartbeat once it gets too hot. So I'm hoping with a little bit of shade from this tree in the afternoon hot sun, we might have our cilantro a little bit longer. The dill is always a staple in our garden because we use so much dill to preserve when it comes into the summertime, making pickles and stuff like that, ferments. So we always have a whole bunch of dill that's going on, and that's what I'm going to get planted. But if anything out of this video, you all, I just want you to understand that there are things that are happening in our world, but we also need to adjust to that. It's better sometimes for us to adjust, take advantage, than dwell and worry. So that's what we're doing. Check out your area, start checking the Old Farmer's Almanac because maybe your last frost date changed. Check that 10-day forecast and let's see what's happening. Maybe you can get your garden out a little early too. Y'all, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button for us. We love y'all. Bye.